My name is Carlos from Demonseed, and you're watching the Warlord Radio Podcast.
Changing a member of the band is like the last thing you ever want to do.
Period.
It fucking sucks.
Because you have to start over from square one.
Yeah.
And like, you know.
And bringing in somebody new, it's like it changes the chemistry in some like unknown way until you're like in it. And,
yeah.
You know, and if it works out well, right?
Yeah.
It's great. Because your lineup right now is kicking. Like, you know, it's great. But when you're in the hunt and you're trying to find somebody, it fucking sucks, man.
Yeah,
it's
you
brutal.
run into the Chex Mix of adversity of what you could go wrong and what could go right. You know? You just never know. You might get a peanut, or you might get like 4 Chex in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to do singers one time, that's a bitch.
Yeah.
That I would think would probably be the worst thing. Like, I'm so glad that's at least one problem I won't encounter.
Right.
Like, I've gone through all the others, but I don't, having to find a singer because...
You even have to think about, like we had just, like, a couple of guys come in that had great voices, but I was like, man, if I had to spend 2 hours with that guy a fucking week, I'd kill him.
Yeah, there's definitely a personal dynamic that does play a role.
And it's weird, too, because, like, for any other position, like, there's a baseline of technical ability that you can just check and see if they have, right?
Yeah.
So if you're trying out a guitar player, it's like, dude, all right, so play these riffs, right? If you can't play them, sorry, you don't work out.
Sure.
A drummer, it's like, can you play this song? Can you play that song?
How many other bands are you in?
Like how many? But a singer is such a nebulous thing because it's like, you're not going to have them just do scales. It's like, well, how does he get along with everybody in the band? And how reliable is he? And is he fucking good on stage? And, and he might be great at everything, but not the one. Yeah, and the one might be huge. Like, it might just be like, well, maybe... he's got, like, stage fright or something like that. Like, I've seen bands that's happened.
I had a guitar player once for this old psychobilly band I was in. This kid had to take benzos just to go on stage. Like, he could, like, they were prescribed to him. And
he's probably a great, like, singer and everything.
Amazing. No, this dude was a guitar player, and he was an amazing guitar player. But, yeah, dude, like, he had to take pills to do his trials. He was like a music student, so like just to play in front of his teacher, he had like to be medicated.
Yeah,
some people have over the top anxiety, man.
Yeah, man.
And you guys lucked out because you got Chase. How long ago was that? Like 3-4 years.
I would say 3 years ago.
Okay.
3 years ago, yeah. When our previous singer kind of dipped out, we immediately looked at Chase for that. So. We all the guys in the band, we already knew we were going to get him, and we were lucky enough that he said.
You just convinced him. You're like, you're in our band.
Yeah, that's how we did.
Like, what? Like,
no, come here.
Yeah.
We did the same thing with Anthony too.
Okay.
Yeah, we just didn't leave him alone.
Yeah. Well, Anthony's. They're both great. Like Chase is a great front man for you guys, and Anthony is a beast behind the kit. So.
Yeah, both of them. Chase in a very short period of time has become such an integral, central member of the band. Man. Yeah.
It's always nice when when it's somebody that's coming in and they just jump in feet first and they're like, okay, man, we're doing this.
Dude, he had this work ethic, and correct me if I'm wrong, I never ever see a singer come in with all the lyrics printed out. He had all his notes. I mean, his work ethic was just bam, 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 bam. So that I was blown away.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, when he came to work, he was well prepared, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, man, because like
and Carrick would have more experience than I do. I'm sure you've come across plenty of singers where it's like that's not the case because you've played in all kinds of bands.
I've been in so many. I've been in like I knew a guy who would just like the way he would write songs is he was like, if it's not good enough to remember, then it's not good enough. And I was like, that's fucking hardcore. Like, fuck. That was really difficult to work with. Yeah. And then like my dad, because I was in my dad's band for like my entire childhood. And my dad is like, he's such a weird fucking dude anyway, but he would literally like just chicken scratch on napkins and shit around him at practice, just like whatever like came into his head, he'd write the lyrics down like on the spot. So it was like bar coasters with fucking lyrics and shit on
Was he just
napkins.
like scatting like David Lee Roth or something?
I mean, you've met him. Yeah, he kind of absolutely was. Shout out to Bone Dog, you weird motherfucker.
That's awesome. Is he still playing it? I mean, I know like the world is shut down, but if that wasn't true, would he still have a band?
He's working on solo, like, noise, like, really experimental, weird shit. Like, my dad's off the reservation, like, just in general. And this shit that he's doing now, it's like Osric Tentacles meets, like, fucking Kraftwerk and shit. It's real wild.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but he just did a live gig for DentonRadio.com, and it was the first time that I got to see this shit. And I'm just watching it, and I'm just like, this is hypnotizing, but it's so fucking weird, man.
He's gonna blow up on TikTok.
Yeah.
Do not let my dad on TikTok. That's the horrible accident waiting to happen.
What would you consider? What's been the peak of the band so far? So, like, you've been around for 20 years. You've played a ton of shows all over the place. Like, you've done like Las Vegas Death Fest. I forget. I don't know if you did Full Terror.
No, we haven't done Full Terror. Actually, we've been reaching out to that guy for a while, and we keep on setting something up.
Put Demonseed on there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Hey, we should make out, man.
Right.
And it just never seems to happen. We're always doing something different than what each other's doing at the same time. So
it happens. But like, what is there a particular point that at least so far has been kind of like the highlight of the band, like the peak of, like, you know, like you had a lot of momentum and you had a great tour, or there was like one show that just really stands out?
It really keeps on going. You know, I would say like the very first time we got to play with Cryptopsy, because who was like one of my top 10 bands, was really like, holy crap, you know, and I was like 25 years old when that happened, you know. And
That's awesome.
And then we got to actually plan a Jägermeister tour at Gypsy Tea Room.
Oh, wow.
I remember that.
With Slayer.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, was on that tour. So, you know, of course, we didn't play the same stage.
Still, that's fucking crazy.
Doesn't matter. You're in the building.
That was, that was really cool, man. That was really cool. So I would say that's definitely one of them. But it just keeps on getting better.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, we finally got to play with Dying Fetus. So I would say most recently, that's probably... Boom, man.
Like,
yeah.
So you have like so much momentum, and it's just all uphill.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Because it doesn't happen like that, you know?
No.
and fairly recently, like within the last, like, I don't know, like month or two, you guys played at Gas Monkey.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys had a really killer show at that. Like, I saw video clips of, like, people moshing on the grass and stuff like that.
Yeah. So. It was a great show, man. That was with Far Beyond Drunk, our homies from half a Bloodstained Carpet, we'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had a great time, man. That's a killer venue.
Did Bloodstained, did they already have, like, they had, like, a one-off reunion, right?
They're having a one-off
reunion.
having
one, okay.
Yeah. That'll be the next show, if it happens. I need to check the date on that.
Sometime.
Yes.
I remember seeing about it, but I haven't seen it in a minute, so I couldn't remember if it had already happened or if it's coming.
It's really tough to promote now because you run... You don't know if it's going to happen. You book it, and you don't know if it's going to happen.
You don't have to tell me. It's like I was just telling them when they got here, our last show of the year, at least because we don't have anything else booked, we were supposed to have a show on the 20th. We're playing a Punk and Metal Fest at the Rail on the 20th next week. And then last second, that got moved back a week to the 27th, and then we just got word yesterday that it got canceled.
So we are in a lot of the same boat. While nobody's talked about canceling the show, I just see it going that way.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't.
Not to mention, there's only a handful of venues again. Like, there's not.
Yeah.
Like, we lost so many venues.
We lost a lot of venues, and there's still a lot of like regulations in place as far as like how they run it. Like, I know, we played at Gas Monkey, you played at Gas Monkey, and that's like outside, even though it's got like an overhang, and they have like people at tables and stuff like that, and then. Wits End, I guess they kind of like had to build up the upstairs stage, so they have bands playing upstairs.
They did that last night,
but with I Am Destruction.
Yeah.
And then, but I guess they have to like cap a strict limit on the number of people that they can even let in. So they have to like actually like turn people away.
Whoa.
And I don't know if it's like 50% or 25%.
I think it's 50%.
I don't know, but it's something like that because I saw like a bunch of people being like, "Man, we tried to go to the show, but we couldn't get in." So there's still a lot of weirdness out there. It's not just like, hey, we have a show. It's like, fucking everything is up in the air.
We have no idea what we're walking into at any given moment. Yeah.
You know what is nice though is you can always live stream. It's not the same as a show.
Yeah.
It can be a small, intimate setting with a handful of people there. And you don't hurt anybody, and you're still able to at least put some kind of nice energy out there with some music.
It's true.
Like I said earlier, I kind of equate that like Cause like I love performing live. Like that's my favorite shit in the entire world. And I'm like I'm addicted to applause, like it's a drug. And I was like, and every time somebody's like, you can do a live stream, I'm like, man, that's like giving a heroin addict a Mentos and telling him not to shake. Like that's crazy. We've done. I mean, it's still like you said, it's better than nothing, but like it is not the same.
No, it's not the same. But you know, we try to attack everything like it's a stadium, even though we've actually never played a stadium.
Right.
So, so you know, if it's going to be a live stream, we're going to do it 110%.
For sure.
We're going to have a great time, and we're going to show the fans and the people that care that we are having a good time. So you can make it what it is. You know, if you're ho hum about it, it might be a ho hum live stream. But if you attack that sucker like it's a 1,000-pound bear, you know, you're going to have a fight like it's a 1,000-pound bear.
There's that cardinal rule, man, whether it's 2 people or 2,000 people, like, play the same show. You know what I mean? Bring it.
I don't remember which venue it was, but it was in Denton, somewhere close to where we're at, and our singer at the time didn't show up. So me and the bass player refused to cancel.
Yeah.
So he sang half the set, and I sang half the set.
There you go.
And that venue owner was so happy, he gave double the guarantee.
Nice.
Even though we had a member. Yeah, he got abruptly fired after that.
All right.
But he doubled our pay, and we're really happy.
Very
about
cool.
that.
Well, you do backups anyway, so it's not a huge stretch.
No.
So,
when we were between singers, it was both the guitar player and myself do backing vocals, and we did that for like 2 months. It was just us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, you know, even if you have the technical ability to sing, you might not have the technical ability to sing and play.
Well, I was going to say that because I mean, it's like
and be energetic.
Like that's really hard. But you're playing really technical shit, so to be able to like shred on guitar and do vocals in time is very impressive.
It's tough.
Because that's walking and chewing bubblegum at the same time. I only have to walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have to do the other one. You know?
Well, so if we do the Haltom City show, every band member in Demonseed is doing another project that night, and Bob's doing 3.
Damn.
Bob's doing Bloodstained Carpet, Far Beyond Drunk, and Demonseed that night.
Damn.
Yep.
Are they like consecutive or is it spaced out?
Oh no, it's one right after. There's only 3 bands on the show, so that's...
Oh, okay.
Necrosis might be opening up. They are, as a matter of fact, because that's how Chase is singing for Necrosis now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not a lot of people know that.
Okay.
So only you that watch.
That's right, Warlord.
Yeah, man,
so we've got a
scoop.
that's right.
Yeah, we got the inside scoop over here. Well, anyways, he's singing for Necrosis.
Very cool.
Yeah, so every band is playing with other members of the band.
That's badass.
Well, that's how a scene should work. That's how you end up with really fucking great bands in your scene.
That's how Cannibal Corpse happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So that what is it? The Centuries of Torment DVD or whatever.
Yeah,
I've watched that so many times.
Me too.
I love it.
So, you guys have been playing for so long. Do you have a venue in mind that's like your favorite venue or like that you've ever played?
My favorite venue, there's 2.
Okay.
So one was a Galaxy Club.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just because those people were so accommodating, the green room was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, an honorable mention deserves the Ridgely because the same thing. The owners of those places were so nice to us. You know what I mean?
Really nice.
It was a nice big venue for them guys to let schleps like us play there. I thought that was really great. But my number one funnest venue was Tattoo Bar.
Oh yeah.
Off of Lancaster. Yeah. That's where I met my wife.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Shout out to Patty.
Yeah, shout out Patty. And that's where things started getting really nice within our ranks too. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
We started branching out. We started going across the United States. We started doing wonderful things. So but that was, even though we started out in Dallas, the Pleasant Grove area, for whatever reason, that Tattoo Bar, they kept on having us back and ended up being our home-based club for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nice to have a specific club. We had one in Denton called Abbey Underground that we used to play all the time, and it was my favorite venue, and it's just because it was home. You know what I mean? It was like, man, I'm going to this place that I love, and I'm going to go do this thing I like. It's a nice night.
Yeah, Tomcats West deserves an honorable mention too, because that was a great venue.
It was, and the owners were always great. Shout out to Rustin.
Yeah, shout out to Rustin always, and Justin Mills to take it over, because he really brought that club. He made that club what it could be.
Oh yeah,
and they did a lot of great things.
What was the name of the sound guy out there? Because the onstage sound at that club was always fucking awesome.
James.
That's James. Okay.
Yeah.
I only met him a couple of times. We played there a bunch of times, but I only met him a couple of times. But the sound was always fucking great.
Oh, he was a wizard.
Yeah, he's the best engineer I've ever worked with in my entire life.
Same. And it was funny because we actually ended up following him around because we played with him, and the first time that he did sound with us, it was at Curtain Club.
Oh, yes.
And then when it was Tomcats was in Deep Ellum, but then it moved to like over by 635 on the north side for like a year or two. And he went over there, and then we played there. And then he went to Tomcats, and we played with him there. And each time it's like, holy shit, you're here now? It's like, yeah, but yeah, shout out to James. He was always
every
amazing.
note on stage. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like it was one of the best sound guys I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah, we did our last CD release party at Rail Club. Yeah, it was Rail Club. And he went over there just to do our sound. It was going to be his last show.
Nice.
And he was going on to do Greener Pastures and do whatever James does.
Yeah.
And, some cool, whatever he does. Well, anyways, he treated us like we were the top notch, the cat's ass. I mean, he just gave us a 2.5 hour sound check. He said, you boys need to show up early and come with your big girl panties on.
Oh, shit.
And we did. We showed up early, man, and he gave us a sound check from hell, man.
Nice.
And you could hear everything. The side fills were immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
He explained us everything that he was doing. He even, he did like a good coach does. Hey, guys, you guys are going to have a great show tonight. You guys are going to really rip some heads off. I want to see game faces the whole way through from start to finish. And, man, he's just...
But set the tone for the whole show.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You're just like,
time.
fuck yeah, I'm ready to do this now.
Also, if you didn't know, James used to play with a band called Porn Lab.
No, I didn't know that.
Very formidable guitar player.
Right.
Very
I know
good.
who Porn Lab is, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Also, James, if you have the Anatomy of Atrocity reissue, and where it's got all the demos, it's got a couple of incarnations of the demos on there. Well, we put a one-off of a song called Minnesota. It's the only place where you can get the recorded copy of Minnesota. And if you listen to that solo, that's James McWilliams.
Oh, shit.
That solo. Also, it's done on a Hello Kitty guitar. all of his stuff was in storage, and it just happened that we dropped it on his lap, and he said, you know what, I got something. And he bust out a video of him playing the solo on the Hello Kitty guitar and sent us the tracks. And that's what that is.
That's somebody that's just way too good.
Yeah.
Like, when you can make a Hello Kitty guitar. Krishna, I think you should update for Lemay configuration.
I should, yeah. Like, why am I even playing a regular-sized guitar?
I know. You've wasted all of that money on those nice guitars. And
I'm a Viabuno.
At their place, they've got the living room turned into like a jam room. So there's like multiple musicians living at their house. It's like 4 guys and like 4 different projects. And they're lining the walls is all different, like amazing guitars and stuff like that. And then there's like a drum kit in the corner and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
But
There's
yeah.
like 30 guitars in that house.
There is no reason to have a living room,
insane.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like you just go in there and it's just like a full studio setup with like guitars and basses and drums and everything like that. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, we worked most of it. We have one roommate he's like addicted to gear. Like every time something new comes out, like he gets it, and so we ended up like he just slowly built this collection into like one of the most fully functional home studios I've ever seen in my life.
That is awesome.
Yeah, man, it's handy. I'll tell you that, man.
Right.
We do a lot of recording in that house. So always stay busy.
So let me ask you a little bit about the songwriting process for Demonseed. How does it work for you guys? Do you come in with songs fully written and you present to the guys, or do you just like have a rough outline of riffs, or do you just all hash it out in the room together? How does that work? Because every band's a little bit different.
Yeah, we have a couple approaches. So a lot of the times, and especially on these latter CDs, Romance and what we have coming up, Bob actually came up with some really great meat and potatoes riffs, and we built off of there as a band, as a whole band together. Mm-hmm. Some of the earlier material, maybe some of the stuff off of Human Disposal Syndicate, I had whole songs written.
Okay.
And me and Bob and Anthony hashed out harmonies and vocal lines and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But 9 times out of 10, it'll be me or Bob bringing a riff to the table, Anthony bringing the percussion in, and then after it's all said and done, then we'll work lyrics over top of it. Chase will do patterns while we're jamming those songs, while they come into conception and writing stuff down.
Does Chase do, now that he's in the band, does he do all the vocals, or is it like a mix of guys contributing?
No, it's always either me or Chase.
Me or Chase? Because that's what I was going to ask, because since there's been like how many singers has there been? 3?
There's been 4 altogether, including Chase. There's been Whitey, who you may not know because we don't have any records recorded, but we did an awful lot of touring with him. Uh-huh. There's been Harold Moose. Uh-huh. He is on the original demo, the Sick as Fuck Texas Death demo.
Okay.
That's Harold Moose. Then we did another incarnation of that very same demo called the same thing, re-repressing with Jamie Moore, who we had for a very long time, and now we have Chase Nutt.
Okay. But those other guys, when they would each come, would they each contribute to lyrics, or was it mainly you?
No, it's always been
It's always been you,
Yes.
and then since Chase comes in and he's got a lot of ideas, he contributes as well.
Yes.
Right on.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, the lyrics, we
So you're like the Steve Harris of Demonseed.
I wish I was the Steve Harris of Demonseed. But you know, we try to do something a little more with our lyrics than the average death metal band. And I know that there are a lot of gore inspired and they're terrible things. But if you were to sit down and I was to tell you what they were about, you might cock your head to the side because it's not what you think that it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big lyric guy. Anyway.
Everybody but you would say that. I'm just going to
well, I always like digging in, because to me they're an important part. You
Myself.
know, is
lyrical content is huge
even
for me,
you know, as a kid, that would be part of the special thing is you get a vinyl or even a cassette, and you'd be reading the lyrics, but reading King Diamond or even Venom and Slayer, or learning the lyrics to Metallica and stuff like that was always an important part of it. So I'm always a little bit mystified when they're some bands are just it's just whatever, and I'm like, what do you mean?
No,
what? Huh?
I will tell you, at least in Demonseed, is not just whatever.
Yeah.
All right, these are my feelings, my inner depth. These are my stories. You know what I mean?
There
you go.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be, I would say.
I would say too. That's what you want to hear. With your favorite artist, you don't want to say, "Oh, I just wrote down whatever." No, you want to hear what he's about.
Yeah.
There's some bands also that don't even write lyrics. They say they'll have lyrics, and I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, you're not saying anything. You're just growling at me.
Well, I mean, a notorious example of that is Obituary.
Obituary.
Yeah,
And I love Obituary. I'm not saying anything negative about it, but I read that and just laughed. Where it's he was just on the first album, he's I was just grunting and
just
stuff
growling
like that.
and shit.
And I was like, I mean, it works. They're Obituary. They're legendary. But I do prefer it.
Yeah. I would prefer you had lyrics.
when there's some thought put into it and stuff.
I mean, how do you write that down to where you don't, let's say you indulge a little bit the night before, and you need a little refresher in the morning.
Yeah.
If you're just doing grunts, I mean, how do you write that down? How do you practice that?
It's how did I do that? Was it
Yeah.
or
Damn it, I should have.
Right,
When I should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to be said for at least well thought out lyrics.
Yeah.
That's a hilarious scenario in my head. It's just some dude that's just I don't really know what the song sounds like, and I've been playing it for 2 years.
Yeah, we've had members like that.
Yeah,
Sure.
One of the things that I really liked about the new EP, the Romance one, is just the title. The title and the cover, which is a girl kissing a decapitated head.
Yeah.
And it's got really gnarly artwork and stuff like that. But for a super brutal death metal band to call their EP Romance, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
I loved it. So that also tied into with the amazing songs. Obviously, that's most important. But again, those are the details that I pay attention to. I always enjoy it when there's that little cherry on top, and it's just yeah, someone's got a sly sense of humor there.
Yeah. So we have irons in the fire. There, of course, there's a story behind everything, but this is. I don't want to let the cat out the bag just yet.
Right.
Let's just say there is more interesting things to come, and maybe, just maybe, if you bought our next body of work, it might tie back to the first body of work.
There you go.
So keep your ears peeled
It's
back.
an anthology.
So
Yeah.
is the plan? You don't have to divulge too much, but is the plan working on a full length now, or is it another EP?
So I will tell you this, that we have been working on a full length all along.
Okay.
But so in today's market right now, it is really hard to remain relevant, and you have to keep on dropping everything. So our idea was to drop something every year until we were done, as opposed to waiting, because it takes us a long time to write.
Yeah.
So as opposed to waiting a year and a half, 2 years for one body of work, and you never get to hear anything, we thought that we would drop some nice EPs your way,
Gotcha.
And so that way it would keep us relevant, and that way you could, our fans would know that we're still working, we're still trying to bring great music to you guys.
Uh-huh.
It's also because it's such a singles market now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to put out a full-length album. If it's incredibly difficult to do that in the first place, but it's hard to sell an entire album.
You know, it really doesn't make sense because it's a singles market. So you do what the Beatles did, you do what the Beach Boys did, minus all the great cash that they made.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Since we play, music that's about as popular as Wet in Your Pants.
I'm excited to hear the Demonseed Pet Sounds album.
Yeah. Just you with a grand piano and a giant sandbox and shit.
Singing about serial killers.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I would actually buy that. So. Another big one that's out there is a lot of bands do vinyl and cassettes. We were talking with Chase from Frozen Soul about it, and he was saying that for his band, cassettes have been a big seller.
Big time.
And have you had the same experience?
Same thing. So cassettes, we haven't got vinyl yet, but it's coming.
Okay.
And
Nice.
if you guys know, vinyl's outsold CD as a physical copy.
Yeah.
So that's what we transitioned to. Last year we put out a full-length album, and we did it on vinyl. And that was our first time to do that, where before we had done CDs.
Yeah, I have that vinyl.
And and
I had no idea that there was such a big market for cassette tapes again, though. Like, that's crazy to me.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's a collector's market in general,
Yeah.
These guys might not read the lyrics, and they,
Right.
but they collect old media, so.
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. And have they outsold, at least for you guys, like CDs?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Metalheads like their CDs. And,
Yeah.
we actually thought about not pressing near as many, but the minute that we don't, we're going to sell out and we're just going to have to re-up. And somebody's going to have to wait in their order. And I'm not having that. If you order something from us, we want you to have it like that.
Yeah.
So we're still going to get physical copies. Our marketing will change.
I got you. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Is there like an estimate on when you think that the next release would come out?
Yeah, if we had it our way, it would be before the beginning of the new year.
Nice.
So we'll see how things going. COVID willing,
Uh-huh.
and everybody remains healthy and working and active. And if
Right.
things are going like the way that they are just now, then we should be giving you a release very soon.
Right on. I'm very excited about that.
As well, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about labels. Because again, that kind of ties in with one of the things we were talking with Chad about, and just like his experiences of working with labels and stuff like that, and our experiences and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys working with a label right now on this new release, or was that last one that you did kind of like a one-off?
It was really a one-off. They approached us about a distribution deal, and they wanted to take the music places where I didn't necessarily see a market for.
Right.
So we wanted to try it out. So that was with Lord of the Sick,
Mhm.
and we did our run there, and then our contract ended, and then so now we're just doing this solo because it gives us a little bit more flexibility, and we don't have to be exclusive to one distribution company.
Yeah.
All of the globe can
Yeah.
distribute Demonseed material, not just this one. So that's what we're saying. So distributors, please hit
Nice.
us up.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah. Get this legendary Texas death metal band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, before I die.
Don't be a dick. Like, fucking distribute their shit.
Yeah, come on now.
That's it. So we're gonna take a quick break. We do like a halfway point, right?
I have to have a tobacco in my system or my head will explode.
Yeah.
Like, physically fucking explode.
And
you.
what we like to do is we like to play a song from the band. Is there a particular track you would like us to play at this halfway point?
Ooh. Yeah, I would like to. I'd like to hear Pyramid of Severed Heads.
Okay. Well, so we're gonna cut to. This is gonna be Demonseed, Pyramid of Severed Heads,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna come back in just a little bit.
Caressing her rose with his severed head, glistening moisture on cold blue lips, climax, torture, and crippling desire.
Welcome back. That was what you just listened to was Pyramid of Severed Heads from the Romance EP by Demonseed. So one of the things that we were actually just talking about when we were taking a short break was like different styles of music and stuff like that, that we're into. What are some of the different bands that you enjoy and listen to that someone might not think the guitar player from Demonseed would be down with?
Days and Days.
Yeah.
Days and Days is the name of. They're a folk punk band, man.
Okay.
And they're from Houston, and they're just a lot of musicians struggle with adversity, we'll say, and those albums are near and dear to my heart because of the way that they write that down. And they're you would think being a folk punk band,
right.
They don't shower, they don't wear perfume,
very crusty.
They're very nitty gritty, but their musicianship is top notch, just
right on.
Excellent. Yeah, so right off the bat, I would say Days and Days.
Okay. What are some of the other stuff? Like, what do you enjoy listening to? Like, we did a whole like top 5 episode where we were like spitballing like non-metal bands.
That was a really hard list
like
to
that.
come up with, man.
Yeah. It was actually hard to like put it down to paper. And we're not going to make you do that, but just like off the top of your head, like if you're not like jamming to something heavy, like what would you listen to?
Man, I listen to a lot of 80s pop.
Yeah.
Right now, and I listen to a lot of 90s pop for some reason right now.
No?
I really tried to eschew the entire 90s, aside from death metal, while I was there experiencing it.
Yeah.
But now, in hindsight, there's a lot of great music and songwriting that goes along with some of that pop music,
Yeah.
So, no one band in particular, but right now it's 90s pop.
Yeah.
A lot, yeah.
Right on. That's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, one of the things is when I was growing up, like, I was that, like, shaved head, like, angry kid that hated hair metal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because, I mean, look, it's like those guys are, like, partying with girls and, living wild lifestyles, doing drugs. Yeah, that wasn't me. I was, like, a little...
I'm an outcast nerd,
Yeah.
like nobody likes
Yeah.
me.
But now... Like, I love it. Like, it's great. Like, I, unironically can listen to stuff like White Lion.
Oh, big time.
And
Striper. We were talking about
and of course,
Striper's
like,
a fucking legit band,
like
man. They're like a Christian
old
early
Motley
band.
Crue. I won't fuck with Striper.
You don't fuck with Striper, I'll fuck with Striper.
I don't fuck with Christian bands. that's my line in the sand right there.
That's right. That's what we were talking about. Your line in the sand.
Yeah.
Speaking of White Lion, so when Don passed, when Don was murdered,
right.
I'll say we went to the wake at Clubhouse, as a band as a whole, and I ended up running into Vito Bratta.
Damn.
From White Lion. And man, we partied all night long, talking shop, drinking vodka.
That's funny. So he's a cool guy.
He's a fantastic dude, man.
Fuck yeah.
If you ever want to talk shop with Vito Bratta, he is more than willing.
Is he's in the area?
I don't know what he was doing in the area.
Okay.
I don't remember
But he was just there for the
Yeah, he was there for Don's wake, and it was really fun. And
That's
he's a
cool.
great guy. So there's Vito Bratta from White Lion being a great guy.
Yeah. And a phenomenal guitar player.
yeah.
Big time.
So, that's a...
White Lion is a very underrated band.
Well,
in general, in my
it's
opinion.
like, in hindsight, it's like you look back and it's like a lot of the poser bands, right? Is that, it's like they all had a singer that would try to be like David Lee Roth, and they're all like super flashy and they're playing like essentially rock songs, but they would all have like a shredding lead guitar player, whether it be like Warren DeMartini,
Rhett Beach from Winger.
Yeah.
Nino Bettencourt from fucking Extreme.
Yeah. And exactly, and these guys were all like phenomenal guitar players.
Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big.
Yeah, like, and it's like the guys that David Lee Roth like worked with. It's like not only like
Steve
Vai. Yeah.
Listen, I didn't know if we're not mentioning Steve Vai or not, but there's Steve Vai over there.
Yeah. Well, we have a no Steve Vai rule because of Krishna.
He's way too obsessed with Steve.
No. Yeah, we'll go down.
For the love of God.
Yeah. But no, so it's like, it's cool. It's like, because you listen and you're like, fuck, that's a good solo.
Yeah.
It's like...
the chords. In the White Lion, I'll go right back to White Lion. The chords in that song and the way that he's arpeggiating all the chords and then how he melds it back together and then there's a sweep with those same chords. How do you not adore that?
Yeah.
How do you not adore that?
I'm with you now. I'm just saying that like...
Back in the day,
like,
you'd have been like, fuck White Lion.
Like,
that's right.
17-year-old angry me. It was like, I'm not having it.
Kicking it off the table.
Yeah,
the solo for Wait, the song.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard. Like, it's so difficult to play. So,
It's a great song.
Yeah.
It's like a legit great song.
That's actually the one that I had in my head as well. Was yeah.
You know, it's like a lot of those. It's like stuff like Rat and stuff like that. It's like, it's good shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like it might get me kicked out of death metal circles, but, you know, it's still cool.
You know, I really don't think so. I think nowadays, you know, even the elitists have a broad palette of what they'll tolerate. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm starting to notice, like, because, like, it's just kind of sounds so fucking old saying this, but, like, some of the younger guys around the scene, like, a lot of these dudes, like, they'll only listen to, like, this style of metal or this, and, like, they'll listen to that all day, and when they go out and start a band, they just sound like that. And it's better to have a broader palette. So, like, I can pull some shit from over here, pull some shit from over here, and, like, mix all of these influences and come out with a completely different sound.
Really, when you're a kid with the band, that's really what you're doing in your head.
Yeah.
You know, before you become that elitist, or before you know, you're only sticking to this one metal because it's super hard and blah 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 blah. And you know, you want to pull from all your influences and create something that sounds like all of your influences, not just one of your influences.
Exactly. You want, like, just that melting pot of your personal taste. You know what I mean? And you can get great music that way.
Sure. Of course, then you add, you know, 4 other members to the mix, and then it tends to be everybody's palette in the band. So, you know, then you got to harness it back and see what you can come up with. Otherwise, it just be all over the place.
It can go off the fucking rails
it
sometimes,
can.
Man.
Yeah, you know, that tipping point is what you're trying to capture on tape, anyways. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the exciting point. That's that's the gold area where it's just like, you know, it's like it might veer out of control, but if you can just harness it in, it's like that's the sweet point right there.
There you go. You know?
So for someone that hasn't listened to Demonseed before, or maybe somebody that just maybe doesn't like have a real thorough knowledge of metal and they're just checking this out, like how would you describe Demonseed's sound?
Well, you know, we've pulled a lot from the TXDM, the golden era of the 90s. So I would say if you're into brutal death metal, you would probably enjoy Demonseed. You know, I mean, we kind of started out with thrashier riffs, but there's always going to be something catchy. There's always going to be something really gross for a chorus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's always going to be some kick-ass drums on there. You know what I mean? We have those key elements that we've kept with us the whole way, you know. But we are a catchier, brutal death metal band, you know.
Right on.
I like a good hook that makes you memorable. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Like, you know, like I could hear a million death metal songs all like walk around Mayhem Fest and like all day long, all you just hear is like this next song is called like brrr, and like you know, and like but there's nothing differentiating it. You give me a good hook though, I'm gonna be like that band is badass, man.
You know, when we started, we wanted to bridge that gap between regular metal and death metal, and while we have not done that, we have kept some elements of trying to do that. So one of those is a decent hook, you know, because all the rage nowadays is no hook. You know?
Yeah. Well, so, you know, I know that you guys have had like some lyric videos released on like the YouTube channel like Slam Worldwide, right?
Yes.
And you guys have gotten a lot of positive notice from it, and that's great. The only thing that me as a fan, like, I never considered you guys Slam.
We're not. We just have a relationship with Slam Worldwide.
And that's legit. You know, it's not that you don't fit. It's not that. It's just that you guys are definitely, you stand apart from a lot of the bands that get released on Slam Worldwide. Because, you know, it's like when you go to, they start like suggesting other bands, and they're good bands, but they don't sound like you guys. And you don't sound like them. It's like they more sound like each other.
For sure, you know, and it's only because we have a relationship with Slam.
Do you think that works to your benefit though? Is not sounding like their typical sound, because somebody will be like, they'll listen to like a Slam playlist and be like, holy fuck, what is this?
It does and it doesn't. But if you can attest, if you've ever been to a Demonseed show where we've played alongside a Silver Tongue Devil, you would say the opposite. That it absolutely works in our favor because we sound nothing alike. Yeah. But for whatever reason, we have a lot of the same fan base.
Well, you know, like for me, just as a fan, is I'm a huge fan of the varied lineup.
Myself,
like I love it because I love all kinds of metal and heavy underground music and stuff like that. So I really dig it when there's like a death metal band and maybe a black metal band or a thrash band or a power violence band or a hardcore band or like whatever it may be. But it does get exhausting. Like I've gone to like Summer Slaughter a few times, right?
Oh yeah.
And don't get me wrong, you will see like some great bands. Like I got to see Vader for the first time, and that was amazing. But man, when you start at like 11 and you go to like 1,
and all you can hear is machine gun double bass.
Yeah, there's only like so many blast beats like your brain can process. You know, it's like after a while, it just becomes like this blob in your head. and it's just like, man, it'd be really cool if they would break that up a little. You
Yeah.
know, and I know that that's not what they're trying to do, and that's fine. You know, power to them. But as a fan, like, I dig it when I see like a lineup that's got like Slayer and Cannibal Corpse and Behemoth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, I would love for a band to come in, and I'm not a huge black metal fan, but I respect what they do.
Yeah.
But I would love for a black metal band to pull me into that genre because they're so good at what they do, and they're such great performers, you know, and so that's what I'm after.
So I would recommend for you to check out Abath, who
Abath.
used to be in Immortal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, locally, you can even check out like Wormchasm or Devil's Daydream.
Yeah,
Those guys
yeah.
are fucking good.
oh,
man.
yeah, shout out to them for
Yeah,
sure.
big time.
But
Yeah.
like on the national stage, I highly recommend Abath,
Abath.
at least as far as me, because like you said, he's an actual performer. Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
makes it like entertaining, and the backing band is like razor sharp,
Top notch, huh?
But they put on a killer black metal show, you know, and that doesn't just sound like, you know, third generation basement tapes from Norway or
Yeah,
something.
no, yeah.
You know?
Not that I mind that. It's just not.
Yeah,
my
no,
preference.
look, to each their own. It's like
For
some
sure.
people like the lo-fi necro sound, and that's great, and some people like super produced like technical death metal sound and stuff like that, and that's great too. it's you know, it's like there's room for all of it. You
Yeah,
know?
and-
it's like but I don't think that it should all sound the same. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
better if you get that mixing of different styles and genres and stuff like that within a show, because then that way, like, you can be exposing your fans to somebody that maybe wouldn't normally
Like-
go to a brutal death metal show.
Like
you know what I
Silver
mean?
Tongue Devil, dude, like nobody sounds like you
Yeah,
guys.
you guys
Like,
are pretty unique.
nobody.
Yeah.
You
It's
Well,
a
thank
completely
you.
original sound, but yeah, I love exposing new people to you guys, and I love watching the crowd react to just Craig's entire fucking crazy ass performance that he does. It's just like, that guy might kill me. It's like, yeah, he might.
He might. That's a choice you make by coming to this show, buddy.
That's right. You know, and for us at least, you know, that was just a real conscious decision, like, from the beginning, is because, you know, we all like so many like styles and stuff like that, and you know, it's such a wild like amalgamation of styles and stuff. You know, it's like for Alex, you know, he's told a lot of people it's like one of his main songwriting influences is John Schaefer from Iced Earth, right? If you basically took that and you took Jean-Francois from Cataclysm and melded it together,
Yeah.
that's Alex.
Yeah, you know, because he is a fan of the catchy.
Oh yeah, and I love that too. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, is you know, mix in some like death metal inspired drums, and you know, it's like now with our other guitar player John, and he's got a whole different set of influence, like you were saying with your band, is it just makes this like this weird, unique kind of like sound that no one of us would have ever come up on our own.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You know, a lot of people would call that magical. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those are those things that you.
a lot of people would not. I can
that's
attest
very
to
true.
that.
Fuck those guys.
It's like, but you know, it is, you know, that is genuinely one of the things that I really enjoy. Is I love being able to go play a show with our friends in Demonseed or Necrosis or somebody that's just like, or Lament Configuration, someone that's just like insanely brutally heavy front to back, right?
Yeah.
And then we might fit somewhere in the middle of that, but we can also play with like a punk band from Austin.
Yeah.
And play with, you know, like our now bass player Brandon, his old band Exploder. We played a ton of shows with Exploder.
Yeah.
You know, like
That would be a good show, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like we play with everybody.
I was actually,
Like,
I was thinking, because, like, I remember I met you a while back. Like, you looked real familiar when you walked up. And he's, of course, known you forever. But we played a show with, and was a really versatile show. It was Diesel Beast. And like I said, we played, like, classic metal. Silver Tongue Devil doing what they do. I don't even know how to classify that, really.
It's metal.
It's just
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
just
I
metal.
would say.
It's
I
just
think
metal.
Exploder was on that, and so is Electric Vengeance. And Electric Vengeance is like, you know, almost punk. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
crossover,
like, yeah,
I would say.
Yeah,
totally
there you go.
different.
Good.
Yeah, but it was a really awesome show. First off, it was a Tomcats, so
Yeah.
it sounded fucking great. And then, like, but everybody sounded differently. You know what I mean? It was that perfect amalgamation of like the lineup, and the entire crowd was into the whole show. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it was
that's
just a
awesome.
magical night. You know what I mean?
I wish we had more of those.
Yeah,
you know?
so
Yeah.
that kind of like ties in. I agree with you. Like I think that I wish more promoters or, you know, even like tours would
Yeah.
have at least one eye on that. of like putting together. It's like, yeah, like have like a fucking like full on brutal band, but then like build up to it. You know what I mean? Like have like different permutations of it to give everybody like a wide range of shit. Like have a punk band and a fucking brutal death metal band. Like why not? You know what I mean? It's like I know they're not identical crowds, and a lot of times they don't always get along together. But you don't want to just like have punk hardcore shows over here and metal shows over here. Like that's no good.
No, if you're playing heavy music of any kind, it really should stick together.
One step further, if you're playing aggressive music, go together too. It doesn't actually have to be heavy.
Fucking have one dude out there that's doing some crazy one-man grind project, or some guy that's doing like some crazy techno shit.
That's how I met Charles McIvory.
Yeah. Killer's Vision.
Killer's Vision.
So I met Sean Whitaker doing that when he was Warlord.
Yeah. So I wanted to transition a little bit. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the pit bulls.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know what the pit bulls are, especially if you're not in the DFW area, even though they're very notorious here in DFW. How would you describe the pit bulls to anybody that's out there listening?
We're moshers. We're a mosh organization. That's what we do. You know, in broader, you know, we're a community organization. COVID hit, you know, moshing pretty hard, so you can't do it at any shows anymore, you know. But, you know, that's what we do. We're moshers, you know. It's plain and simple. There's not a whole heck of a lot more to it. We get out there and we do what we do, so bands will keep on coming back to DFW and we can show them a good time. And it seems to be working because, you know,
we guys, like, you keep the energy up for the entire show, and I mean the logos. Everybody in the DFW area knows that shirt. You know what I mean? Like it's a classic.
And not only that, but it's like you guys are so notorious because I mean I believe you celebrated 25 years.
30
years.
30 years. Yeah.
But I mean I've seen Cannibal Corpse videos with the guys wearing that. I've seen Cataclysm, Jungle Rot. I'm blanking, but I know there's Suffocation. I know there's a bunch of bands that not only will they rep their Pitbull shirt in Dallas, but in videos.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. They definitely respect what we do because we definitely respect what they do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know, we haven't as a band played everywhere, but you know, we've seen a lot of scenes. I have never come across in any other city. Essentially what the pit bulls do is where you're a dedicated group of moshers that you go to not only local shows but national shows. You get there early, you stay there late, you've even helped like load gear for bands and stuff like that.
Stick around, meet everybody.
Everybody, and you're there to not only mosh but also in effect to keep the peace, because you know, like at a lot of shows where, you know, it's like...
It can get heated in the pit.
It can get heated, but also it's like security kind of becomes a moot point because, like, I don't encounter the kind of, like, drunk asshole fist fights
when pit bulls are around.
When they're there, as opposed to when I go to a show and you're not there.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I was about to say, like, because I've seen you guys like police pits before, like some asshole kid's crowd killing and punches some chick in the head. Like the pit bull's gonna go talk to him.
Yeah, like, but you know where we differ is we're not gonna go rough somebody up. We don't. No. We do our roughing with each other. We get more. We get
just
more,
like, hey man, knock it off. You kick that chick in the face. Stop.
There you go. You know what I mean? Because we want to kick chick in the face to stay at that club and have a good time with everybody else.
Exactly.
That's what we want. We want everybody to have a good time.
You're basically like, this is, for lack of a better term, almost like a hype organization. You're there to keep the energy up.
Well, I can remember when, you know, they call it the 90s, the early 90s, the Great Metal Depression. Yes. And there was only 4 or 5, you know, people in DFW going to see these bands. Well, 4 out of those 5 people were pit bulls.
Yeah.
So we would give 110% because we liked what they do, and even though there was only 4 of us, we wanted them to come back. And, you know, it worked. I'm not saying that we single-handedly kept these folks alive, but we did our part to make sure that they felt special because we thought they were special.
Yeah. And we got to give a special shout out to Dave Campos, the Mosh Father.
Our Mosh Father.
Because Dave is the guy that started the pit bulls. He was the first pit bull.
Yep.
When did you join?
I joined in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So
about the time that you got Demonseed going.
Actually, it was at that show was a Pit Bulls Present show, and it was one of the very first ones of its kind. And I remember they were serving food. Pit Bulls, Dave and Joker were serving hot dogs and chili and cheese and stuff, you know. And we played with Torment Defined, band called Bethavin, a band called Century. And it was a great show, and we actually got to open that show, and there were still people, and they didn't want to go home, so we closed that show too.
Nice.
Yeah, really cool. So David took me aside. He said, "Carlos, I noticed you out there in the pit," and I'm like, "Yeah, I really like to do that, man. It's really cool." And he goes, "We're a mosh organization, and other mosh organizations might approach the band about doing things for them, but," he says, "Carlos, the pit bulls will get you chili and cheese, man."
Sold. Fucking sold, yeah.
But by the way, that is
bro.
spot on Dave Campos.
That's very true.
Yeah,
Like,
when you can sell a mosh organization on chili, cheese, and heart alone, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, COVID aside, I know that's like fucked everything up.
For everyone.
But at least in theory, like, is the pit bulls, are they still going strong?
Of course we are. Of course we are. Our numbers have dwindled, and they've crested and dwindled and crested over the course of 30 years.
Right.
But we're still around. We're still here, and we're always going to be here. We're
Right
always
on.
going to be here for DFW. DFW has always been around for the pit bulls.
Yeah. And like I said, that is just a super unique thing because, I have not seen that in great cities but you don't see it in Houston, you don't see it in LA, you don't see it in Chicago and stuff. And they might have dedicated groups of fans that go to shows and stuff like that, but not an organization that I've seen like the Pit Bulls.
Oh, in the 90s too, we would actually bring a lot of these touring bands because they couldn't afford to make it.
Yeah.
Well,
Texas.
Dave was telling me one time about the first time that he brought Death to DFW, and there was like 15 people in the audience, and they were basically all Pit Bulls.
Yeah.
And it was like, think about it, it's like Death. That was Death.
Death, the legendary band Death.
But at the time, it was just like, who are these fucking jagoffs? It's like,
Well, that when we got to play with Cryptopsy for the first time was actually another Pit Bulls Presents show, and it was with Vader, Cryptopsy, Divine Empire. There's one more big one I'm forgetting, but regardless, it was an international death metal fest, and this is something that Dave did, that the Pit Bulls did, to bring these bands that really weren't, Dallas wasn't on their map, and make it part of the radar, so that DFW could see these great bands live and stuff. So at least we contribute to stuff like that, keeping these bands here.
right on. That's just a wonderful thing. I mean, it's like we've never received nothing but love from the Pit Bulls, so I am definitely biased. And full disclosure, our guitar player Alex is in the Pit Bulls, so I'm unfairly biased in that regard. But just my honest opinion is like I've never come across like somebody just in the Pit Bulls just being like an out and out dick in the pit. It's like I've not gotten like punched in the back of the head by a pit bull in the hit. I have been punched in the back of the head by random drunk guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so it's a very cool thing that you guys do.
Thank you. We try to be courteous. We call it ringside, the people around, everybody that's not in the pit, and we try to be as courteous as we can, unless they're heckling us. In which case, then we try to absorb that.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if you're in the pit, you're fair game.
There you go.
It's like,
Straight up, and you did that to yourself, man.
Yeah.
Pushed you in that pit.
Yeah. But to our defense, we will pick you back up.
Yeah.
Well, always, That's the number one rule of the pit for anybody out there, man. If somebody falls down in the pit, get them up, because that is a dangerous place to be. Is flat on your back in a mosh pit, man.
Or face down.
Or face down.
I've had that too.
Yeah.
I was there that night at Tomcats, and shout out to Billy LaFawn, but that night that Billy got like knocked the fuck out, that was, I don't even remember what exactly happened, but I looked over and Billy's just like laid out on the floor.
I gave him mad props. He did get back up, and he's still a beast. He's such a good soul, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Skull Archer and Billy LaFawn.
Yeah. We've had him on the show. We'll definitely have him back. So, what are some of the metal bands that you've been jamming lately? Like, what have you been listening to? What's in your truck or on your headphones?
We were talking about Slam Worldwide, and they hit me onto a band called Agonal Breathing. I don't know if you heard those guys, and they're pretty good.
Okay.
Analepsy.
Yeah, I know who they are. Yeah.
My good buddy Jeffrey Solman hit me onto a band called Mental Cruelty.
Mental Cruelty.
Really cool. Kind of a blackened death type thing going on. Dip my toes in the black water, and actually, Analepsy and Cranium did a split. I just picked that up, and that's pretty good.
Okay.
Yep. Wet the palate a little bit. Man, there's one that I'm forgetting. and it's slipping my mind.
There's
but yeah.
There's one band I want to turn you on to called Fulci that I've been digging on lately.
I saw Lucio Fulci.
Yeah.
Fulci lives.
And so they use like clips from his movies and stuff like that, but they're a brutal band and they got some really catchy riffs.
Cool. You had me at Fulci.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to end and we're going to play another Demonseed song here at the end of the episode. What one would you like us to play here?
Well, we have a love song that we wrote for Texas.
Yeah.
And in Texas.
Okay.
And for
clearly.
Yeah, for the dead lovers in Texas. And I would like to play Chainsaw Sodomy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Would you say is that probably your guys like
that's the
biggest hit?
That's the panty dropper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, if you it's a Carnation Insta Pit. You know what I mean? You ever seen Carnation Insta?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could pour Chainsaw Sodomy in the middle of a dance floor and people will pit.
Is that the song you guys normally close with?
It is not. We keep that in the middle to keep going to keep
the energy.
Going. Yeah. We don't.
I like that.
We don't do a whole lot of older songs these days because everybody's on the new stuff. But that is one that normally never leaves our lineup is Chainsaw Sodomy.
Right on. So we're gonna play Chainsaw Sodomy. Carlos, thank you so much for coming out.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas. Appreciate it, man.
Is there anything? Where would you direct people to check out Demonseed stuff, whether it be merch or videos or music or anything?
So for merch, let's go to Bandcamp. Make sure that you are looking at the Demonseed Bandcamp and not Demonseed something else Bandcamp.
Yeah,
and,
just Demon, Bandcamp, Demonseed.
Bandcamp, Demonseed Band.
Because apparently there's maybe more than one profile, but it's only the official Demonseed one.
That's right. If you want to help us out, you'll go to the official Demonseed TXDM Bandcamp. That's Demonseed Band at TXDM. Same thing with the Facebook. We're Demonseed TXDM. Matter of fact, you could probably Google search TXDM, and you're going to find a couple of us in there. So.
There you go. Yeah, so just look up Texas Death Metal.
Hey, thanks for having me, Warlord. I do appreciate it.
Oh, man, it was a pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming out. This has been Warlord Radio and Fuck Sublime.
V-Currents.
There you go.
Oblivion, the golden house of the Warlord Radio Podcast. Please hit like and subscribe at the bottom.